Go on, drink it slow.
Thank you.
A wide shot of a lonely cattle ranch in the Arizona territory at sunset, the sky bleeding orange and red across endless scrubland. A solitary cabin sits at the base of a mesa, smoke rising thin from its chimney. A rancher named Elias Thorne stands on the porch, his hands calloused, his face weathered by 43 years of sun and solitude. He has not spoken to a woman in 6 years. A figure appearing at the edge of the property, small and stumbling, her dress torn and stained with travel dust. She collapses against the fence line, her hand reaching out weakly toward the cabin. Elias steps down from the porch, his heart quickening, his hand moving instinctively toward the rifle by the door. But when he sees her face, pale and hollow with exhaustion, he lowers his hand and runs. Close-up of the woman's face as Elias reaches her, a young woman named Clara, perhaps 25, with dark circles beneath her eyes and cracked lips that have not tasted water in 2 days. She clutches a small cloth bundle to her chest, her fingers white-knuckled around it. Her eyes flutter open, meet his, and in a voice hoarse and trembling, she whispers the first words he has heard from another soul in years. Elias lifting Clara into his arms, carrying her across the dusty yard toward the cabin, her weight barely anything against his chest. His dog, a gray shepherd named Tuck, follows at his heels, whining softly. He kicks the door open and lays her on the bed by the hearth, his hands gentle despite their roughness. He has forgotten what it feels like to touch another person. Inside the cabin that night, firelight flickering across wooden walls as Elias tends to Clara's wounds, her feet raw and bleeding, her wrists bruised as though she had been bound. She watches him through half-closed eyes, her body tense, waiting for something. He says nothing, simply wraps her feet in clean cloth and brings her broth in a tin cup, holding it to her lips himself. Days passing, Clara slowly regaining strength, sitting by the window and watching Elias work the cattle. She speaks little, answering his gentle questions with nods or single words. He learns her name, learns she came from a settlement 3 days south, learns nothing more. He does not press. He brings her food, leaves her space, and waits. One evening, Clara standing in the doorway as Elias returns from the corral, her face pale but determined. Her hands grip the doorframe, her knuckles widen, and she speaks in that same hoarse, trembling voice that first brought her here. She tells him she has nothing, no family, no money, no future. She tells him she will work, will cook, will clean, will do anything. Close-up of Elias's face as she speaks, his expression shifting from surprise to something deeper, something vulnerable. He opens his mouth to tell her she owes him nothing, that she can stay as long as she needs, that he expects nothing in return. But she is not finished, and the words she says next stop his breath entirely. Clara stepping closer, her voice dropping to a whisper, her eyes filling with tears she refuses to shed. She says she knows what men expect, what men demand, and she will not run from it. She lifts her chin, her voice steadying, and says the words that will change both their lives. Take me. I will bear you children. Just let me stay. A long silence filling the cabin, the fire crackling, Tuck's tail thumping slowly against the floor. Elias stands frozen, his hands at his sides, his throat working as he tries to find words. He looks at this woman, this stranger, who has survived something he cannot imagine, and sees not an offer, but a wound so deep she believes her body is the only currency she has left. Elias stepping forward, not toward her, but toward the hearth, where he picks up a second blanket and lays it on the floor beside the fire. He turns back to her, his voice low and rough, and tells her she will sleep in the bed, and he will sleep here, and she will never owe him anything. He tells her she is safe. Her face crumples. Close-up of Clara's face as the tears she held back finally break free, streaming down her cheeks, her hand pressed to her mouth to stifle the sound. No one has offered her safety without cost. No one has looked at her, and seen anything but a body to use, a mouth to feed, a burden to bear. Elias does not move toward her, does not touch her, simply stands in the firelight and lets her weep. Weeks passing, the cabin transforming under Clara's hands, curtains hung at the windows, a garden planted by the door, bread rising on the hearth. Elias watches her from the corral, from the porch, from his chair by the fire, and something in him begins to thaw. She catches him looking one afternoon and does not look away. A small, fragile smile passes between them. Elias teaching Clara to ride, his hands guiding hers on the reins, his voice patient and steady. She is nervous at first, her body tense, but slowly she relaxes, and when the horse moves beneath her, she laughs, a real laugh, bright and surprised. Elias steps back, watching her ride in a slow circle, and the sound of her laughter fills something empty in his chest. A summer storm rolling across the prairie, lightning splitting the sky, rain driving against the cabin windows. Clara is afraid of the thunder, her hands pressed over her ears, her eyes wide. Elias moves to sit beside her on the bed, not touching, just present. When the next crack of thunder shakes the walls, she leans into him, her face against his shoulder, and his arm comes up around her. The storm passing, the rain softening to a gentle patter, the two of them still sitting together in the darkness. Clara speaks for the first time about where she came from, a husband who sold her to miners. A year of horror, a night she escaped with nothing but the clothes on her back. Elias listens without speaking, his hand finding hers in the dark. Close-up of Elias's face as she finishes, his eyes bright with unshed tears, his jaw tight with rage he does not show. He tells her about his own past, a wife who died in childbirth, a child who followed her days later, 6 years of silence that he thought would never end. He tells her he thought he had nothing left to give anyone. He was wrong. Months later, autumn arriving with golden light and cool evenings, the two of them sitting on the porch as they have every night. Clara's hand rests on her belly, not yet showing, but held with a tenderness that speaks of hope. She looks at Elias, and he looks back, and neither of them speaks of the arrangement that brought them together. It has become something else entirely. Winter, a newborn crying in the warmth of the cabin. Clara exhausted but glowing as she holds the child against her chest. Elias kneels beside the bed, his rough hand reaching out to touch the baby's tiny fingers, his face transformed by wonder. Clara takes his hand and presses it to her cheek, and he leans forward, pressing his forehead to hers, the three of them breathing together. A final wide shot of the ranch in spring, wildflowers blooming across the mesa, the cabin door open to the warm air. Clara sits on the porch with the baby in her arms, laughing as Elias lifts a toddler, their second child, onto a gentle pony. Tuck barks and circles them, and the sun catches their faces, illuminating joy that was fought for, earned, and finally, fully claimed. Two broken people who built a family from nothing but courage and the quiet bravery of choosing to stay.